¿Cómo les va? Les saludamos con mucho gusto. Hoy vamos a tener una entrevista muy especial con el coach de los Carolina Panthers, Dave Canales, el quinto head coach hispano en la historia de la NFL. Jaime, estamos muy emocionados de hablar hoy con el coach Dave Canales.
Solamente hay 32 equipos en el mundo y ser uno de ellos creo que tiene mucho valor. We ready? Check. Can you check your microphone?
How's this? Good?
During Hispanic Heritage Month, there's a lot of people that see you as an inspiration. Now, how can you inspire them to achieve whatever they want to do in life?
Yeah. I mean, it started off with a dream from my grandparents.
Hay nuevo entrenador de las Panteras de Carolina. Estamos hablando de Dave Canales.
Mexican American is a unique expression.
The blood runs right through these veins.
Football is for everybody.
Histórico también para esta organización, será el segundo coach hispano en dirigir a los Carolina Panthers.
It's not a lot of people that has walked this road. I do one of them.
I'm really proud of my heritage. I'm really proud to be able to represent Latinos everywhere.
Yeah, my name is Isaac Canales, and I'm David Canales' father. These are David's grandfather's medals earned during World War II. He earned this medal as an expert rifleman. He was issued the American Defense Medal. Then he was issued the Medal for Combat in World War II. And then he was issued a Battle Star. So these are the medals given to Mexican warrior who couldn't speak English, barely spoke English through the entire war. So we're very proud of Grandpa. My father came from Mexico. He was born in part of Mexico called León, Guanajuato. And he was an orphan at the age of 11 and traveled from Mexico to the United States, back and forth on trains, and finally ended up in San Jose. He felt the calling to the ministry and was prepared to go to Bible school, but he was drafted into the Army without being a naturalized American citizen. He was transferred overseas and landed on the shores of Iran as the first ever group of landing craft in the history of World War II, where they staged the landing of Dunkirk on D-Day. The decision that he made was go back to Mexico or fight. And it's always been part of the Mexican culture to be a warrior. And so I think that was part of Papa's decision, to be a warrior and to secure a better future for his family if it meant to be able to become a citizen and then become a part of the privileges that America offers the citizens and for the future of a family that he would have.
As he got into his 20s, he just kind of, to him, he was like, okay, I know there's something more to this, and that's right around the time when he met the Lord. And that kind of changed everything. Because it just gave him a bigger view of life, a bigger appreciation for calling. It really just kept bringing him back to the gospel, back to the word, and then his dream became to become a preacher.
Went to Bible school. After Bible school, was associate pastor, and then began Mission Ebenezer Family Church, which I took over 40 years ago, and then that church is now pastored by my oldest son, who is David's older brother.
Amen. Aleluya. ¿Alguien puede decir amén? ¿Cuántos están gozando estar en la casa del Señor? How many of you are rejoicing to be in the house of the Lord tonight? Gloria a Dios.
I'm Pastor Josh Canales of Mission Ebenezer Family Church in Carson, California.
I do not know what you are going through, pero yo sé una cosa. Nosotros servimos a un Dios que es más grande que cualquier problema estamos pasando.
Our church is part of the Spanish-speaking district of the Assemblies of God. And so we've remained faithful and connected to our roots. Much of our leadership, our pastors' conferences are predominantly Spanish language. However, our English side of our ministry is multicultural, very, very diverse.
Es un día especial, amén.
It's a very special day.
Es el día que hizo el Señor.
It's the day the Lord has made.
Entonces nos tenemos que gozar y nos tenemos que alegrar.
We're going to rejoice and be glad in Him.
Our people here are a representation of the Port of Los Angeles. And so it's a mixed crowd, lots of families, lots of youngsters. You're going to see kids running through the sanctuary, lots of noise. You're going to see lots of hugs. We're like one huge family here at this church. And so being in a multicultural setting like Carson really helped us in developing into the persons that we have become.
Davey was raised in church, which has always been a bilingual, multicultural experience for us. So he was raised in a setting where there's people of different nationalities, different cultures. So I would say basically that although he's, Mexican American, he's easy in any culture.
Dave's ability to connect, Dave's ability to get along with folks from all different walks of life, different cultures, different language has really been his superpower. I didn't speak much Spanish at all, neither did our youngest brother, but Dave actually began to speak Spanish with his buddies, and it would floor me to see David and how quickly he had picked up the Spanish language.
Yeah, well, it started off with Sunday school, and everything we did when we were probably up until age 10 was all in Spanish. So we read in Spanish, we sang in Spanish. And so, it really just kind of enriched us that way, not just from a cultural standpoint, but practically speaking, to try to get comfortable and fluid with our Spanish and to be able to relate that way, it meant a lot.
In high school, he started a multicultural club. Everybody was welcome, bar none. Anybody could come. And so basically it was just kids coming in and having fun together. Even though it was unique, it was not very strange to think that Davey would do something like that. And then so show that type of cultural leadership.
I'm Mexican American, I think that way, and I feel that way. I don't look that way necessarily. That was a struggle, but it's always given me a chip on my shoulders that, okay, well, I gotta show you guys who I am then. I gotta show you what I'm about. I really feel like it's kind of been some of the fuel that's helped me to face great challenges and to say, okay, but if I can get my foot in here, I can show you what I can be about.
There were some folks who would try to tell us about who we were, but one thing you could not deny is our last name is Canales, and the blood runs right through these veins, and we're proud to say that we are Mexican. We're proud to bear the name Canales.
Tom Fears, Tom Flores, Brian Flores, Ron Rivera, and Dave Canales. That's the only Hispanic coaches in the history of the NFL. But that does resonate to you and to your family. Even saying that, I get the chills because, again, we feel represented with you. So during Hispanic Heritage Month, how do you feel with being in this list?
Yeah, those are big shoes to fill, and I think that I think there's certain things as Latinos that we take pride in about treating people with respect, about all work is noble. My abuelita would say that all work is admirable. No matter what the job is, there's no job too little or no job too great. It works both ways. So for me, I come into an opportunity with courage, and with pride to say I can do it, or at least I can give it a good shot and try. I'm not afraid to try it, and also just as I started my coaching career and just the way as a coach you kind of start at the bottom and you have to do a lot of thankless jobs, and for me it was nothing. For me it was like, this is normal to me because my people, right. We take pride in work, and having a job, it means so much, and so that's just the heart and soul to me of what it means to represent Latinos as a head coach.
I want to ask you, what was the favorite dish that Abuelita fixed for you?
Arroz con pollo.
Arroz con pollo.
And
sí.
you could smell the onions, the comino. You could smell just the tomatoes boiling all day. My abuelita's house was down the street, and that's where everybody went after school or after sports. We would go there, and you'd walk in, and you knew dinner wasn't ready, but it smelled so good,
That's home.
Like, yeah,
That's home.
we were getting kicked out of the kitchen, but the arroz con pollo was amazing, and she'd have the full drumsticks of chicken in there.
Mm-hmm.
She'd have green olives, kind of a Spanish, flavor to it. It was so good. Yeah. And the beautiful thing is she's passed that legacy on. My mom had learned a lot of her dishes.
Got you.
My aunt Esther, my aunt Lisi, my cousins, all of them,
Wow.
they still carry those traditions, on today.
Every market expresses in some ways the cities and the towns that the people came from their country of origin. Buenos días. ¿Cómo está? We grew up in this market in Carson. David and the boys, we would come and buy different things here.
Oh, la venadita is the best. The best cuts of carne asada, carnitas.
And everything you see in here is what Mexican people come to buy. These are all the Mexican hot sauces. It's Cholula, Tapatio. See this banana right here? That's called plátano, macho, which is a little tougher, but they're good. Yeah, like plantains. The smells of the market mixed with vegetables and meat in the background, people speaking Spanish and yelling one another from the back of the meat market to the front, saying hello. Buenos días. No hay de qué, gracias. It was like a concentration of your culture. See, the people come here from Mexico, and this is like being in Mexico for our people. We're gonna order some regular Mexican style asada. In English, it's called flat meat, but we call it asada. And it's like what we order for our festivals, our parties, celebrations, baptisms, child dedications. Hi, how are you? Y vamos a ordenar 2 libras de carne asada y costillas y pollo. Yeah. We would go in together, get some chili peppers or some meat, or we'd go in there and pick out the piñatas. When they were little, we would come for their birthdays. We would get a piñata for them and for the nieces and for the nephews. It's important to go there, and to see friends that are part of the community, that keep the culture fresh. Gracias, muchas gracias por todo. People from Mexico and Mexican Americans, we like to retain our culture. And so to retain the pride of our distinctive. Ahí nos vemos. These little enclaves of culture are so important.
For us, growing up in the streets of Los Angeles as Mexican Americans, we had choices to make. Were we gonna continue the path of the local gangs, just moving in the wrong direction, or were we gonna connect ourselves to something else? And for us, it was sport.
The Rock started off as a dream of mine, my brother Josh, my older brother, and my cousin Kevin. And the 3 of us kind of put our brains together and said, okay, we got this 19,000 square foot void at our church. So all of a sudden it was available on our property.
At the time, it was an empty warehouse, but we had this dream of using sports to impact our community.
What if we could turn this place into this oasis for youth? Get them off the streets, get them out of trouble. Let's bring them in here. We'll train them, we'll challenge them.
Say it, go.
My name is Mike Evans.
Push when it get hard. Push when it get hard.
This place, The Rock, is a place where I grew up coming to.
There we go. Push ourselves, push ourselves.
Dave Canales was my football coach. Great mentor to me growing up. Inspired us to be great. He always had dreams of giving back to kids, and now I'm back here. And I have 50 kids in our community that I'm giving back to. All y'all want to go to the NFL. If y'all want to do that, y'all got to do what the next man is not going to do. All right, so to get to where y'all need to get, y'all got to do the extra, and y'all got to put it all on the line. Be a head coach in the NFL is great, and also for the kids to see that,
It's really inspirational because if he could start here and make it to where he is now, I know that if I put in the work he did, I know I could reach where he is at right now.
Yeah, he's a hero. He's a model to all the kids. What does that mean? Is this, if he can do it, I can do it. And that's how David postures it. You can do it.
So let's continue to push ourselves so we can be great. Because that's the goal. That's why everybody here, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's lock in.
Started coaching in the Rock, started training athletes from a strength and conditioning standpoint, football technique standpoint, and my players were doing well in their practices at the high school. And so the coach called me the very next week and said, hey, been doing a great job with some of these guys. Would you like to come and coach? And I was like, absolutely. It stirred something in me. And I jumped at the opportunity to be able to do that. And that's really where my coaching career started. Next thing you know, I'm coaching at the high school and we're bringing, anywhere from 30 to 50 kids into the Rock, and the boxing program was thriving. And so it was just kind of started off with a little bit of a dream, and somebody got behind it.
So let's go every 3 seconds. Olympic style boxing is punching every 3 seconds. My name is Alvis Arroyo, and I'm the head coach at the Rock Boxing Gym in the city of Carson, California. This space is provided by the Canales family. They've been here for a long time, man, and it's always been for the community to keep the kids out of the streets, out of gangs, out of drugs, out of jail, and out of the grave. Remember, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And whatever you put in is what you're gonna get out of it.
Mexican boxers are known for their aggressive style of fighting, and you can see that here in our gym.
Double jab, straight hook, go, boom, 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 body.
We like boxing, we like aggressive sports. It's part of the culture, part of the history of Mexican people.
Yeah, it's a culture of toughness. You don't rub it when you get hit.
Let's go, back to work, Bucks. You gotta keep on pounding, but keep your hands up.
The harder it gets, the better we get. That's kind of the way that our culture thinks and operates, and it's kind of a passionate and confrontational culture, that way. Your chest out, kind of shoulders back pride, that gets us going. And what better format than boxing, where it's mano a mano, and who wants it more? I think it just kind of fits the nature of our culture.
Looks good on you.
It was so important for my family to be there for my first win as a head coach. To see all of them on the sideline, just these full circle moments, just remembering all the practices, walking off the field, and my dad's there, hustling back from work to make a game. He never got to play sports. He never got to play. He had polio. And nobody really told him how he could do it, how he could get it done. But he was always our champion, my brothers and I.
Kids usually live out their parents' dream. That was my dream, to play football. And all of my boys played that dream out to one extent.
He didn't know anything about the sports we were playing. He learned. He watched the sports and all that, but he would always start off with, Mijo, what do I know? But it looks like you could do this or that. And if you don't do anything else, hustle.
Hustle, work hard. Don't ever quit. If you get knocked down, get up again.
You can always out-hustle somebody. You can always outwork somebody.
And with God's help, man, you can achieve anything you want.
My dad may have never donned the Narbonne High School jersey, but he played sandlot football. Them stories of playing football there in the hall of the Harbor City Projects is why we have Dave Canales coaching the Carolina Panthers.
That's where I really fell in love with the sport, because there was so much involved with it, and the different calls and the things that can happen.
He would sit here in that sofa right over there, and he would draw out maybe 5 or 6 plays with X's and O's. And of course, David's been good at what he does since he was little, taking the kids from the neighborhood to the local park. He would be the coach.
sit in the same row with my brother Koba, my father and mother, to see Dave down there with his play call sheet and his headphones on and doing his thing. It's incredible.
Just these full circle moments. I just think about that and the different sports accomplishments that my brothers and I have made. And while it's certainly our own stories, it definitely means a lot that my dad and my family were able to be there for the first win.
Remember where you came from. Don't ever forget. Be proud of your ancestry. Remember your grandfathers. Remember your great-grandparents. Always be proud of your heritage.
Take a lot of pride in where I come from. The long journey really of my grandparents, you know, coming from Mexico, establishing citizenship for my grandfather in World War II, and just really hoping for a better life for my dad, for his sisters, you know, and breathing in that dream that here you can do anything you put your mind to, you can accomplish anything that way. And so I take a lot of pride in the fact that my dad stands on the shoulders of my grandparents, and I stand on the shoulders of my dad and his generation.
Coach is bicultural. That connects you immediately to the community.
It's so important to me that I contribute what I can to advance this game, especially to my people.
Mijo, you can go and do anything you want to if you just work at it.
He's an inspiration to thousands of young Latino men.
Yeah, he's a hero. It's all about the story. What you're doing, that's what it's all about.
Palmas arriba. Yo sí le voy a los Panthers. Taca, 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 ta. Porque con la furia felina sí se puede.
Thank you.